Being an actor is a great job, right? Especially if you're on a hit show like the CW's Riverdale? Wrong. The cast of Riverdale has to follow some truly wild rules unless they want to get axed, and even then they still might get fired at any time. Sure, every job has specific policies that an employee has to follow, but few gigs make you change your look and stay PG in your personal life. In this video, the Binger is going to break down all the bizarre rules that the cast of Riverdale has to follow to the letter. In an interview with YouTuber Shane Dawson and Ryland Adams, Madeline Petch revealed that the CW trained her on how to properly get in and out of a car. Seriously, for her to play Cheryl Blossom in Riverdale, she had to practice this simple thing that most people do every day. That's because the producers of Riverdale really don't want their stars caught in a Lindsay Lohan moment. Specifically, that infamous photo of Lohan getting out of a car and exposing all of, herself to onlookers. It's easy to understand why a production studio wouldn't want any of their leading stars caught in such a scandalous moment. Even if Riverdale can get pretty steamy at times, the people behind it want their actors to keep a squeaky clean image. After all, any drama in the press can be a distraction on set and bring the wrong kind of attention to the show. Is a woman having to take a class on how not to expose her crotch a little extreme? Absolutely, but it's a small price to pay for fame and stardom. Like a lot of TV shows, Riverdale is filmed in Vancouver, Canada. That's because the city is a relatively affordable location and in a lot of cases offers tax credits to studios who film there. However, actors need to be prepared to relocate at a moment's notice and work out of remote locations for months at a time. Riverdale doesn't send their performers to out-of-the-way locations all that often, but they do need to be ready to shoot off set frequently. Riverdale regularly has scenes that take place in the wilderness of other outdoor areas. While this is still a controlled environment, shooting on site is more affordable than building sets to match these locations. Filming these scenes can subject performers to intense weather conditions, hours of additional travel, and increased stress. This is what an actor is signing up for when they join a production, and they have to be okay with it. Archie and the gang have yet to travel too far beyond the town of Riverdale, so at least this rule hasn't put too much strain on the actors. Yet. You know how the Riverdale showrunners don't want any drama from the paparazzi distracting the cast while they're filming? Well, they really don't want cast members to create that drama themselves. That's why Riverdale actors are required to get along with their co-stars and maintaining healthy relationships. Now, the production company, Berlanti Productions, can't stop actors from hooking up or falling into complicated relationships. However, they can crack down on behavior that slows down production or creates an unhealthy environment on set. This is easier said than done though, as it can be tough to work with someone every day for hours on end when you have beef with them. The Riverdale cast has to do their best to keep these tense feelings under wraps though, and save the drama for the show. Besides some dating between cast members and the occasional set meltdown, the Riverdale cast is pretty good about keeping things professional. Or at least they're good about hiding their feuds and keeping that stuff on the down low. It's no surprise that actors need to change up their appearance somewhat to really bring a role to life. After all, their job is to play a part, not be themselves. However, they sometimes have to change up their looks so severely that it affects their personal life. For instance, actor KJ Apa, Archie Andrews himself, isn't a natural redhead. In real life, he has dark brown hair and dyes it when filming starts. That also means that Apa has to be cool with being a redhead for months at a time. Cole Sprouse is in a similar situation, having to dye his naturally blonde hair black to take on the role of Jughead. Digital effects and makeup can go a long way in changing an actor's appearance, but they don't always get the job done. Often, the most believable and cost-effective method of prepping an actor for a role is just to have them adopt it full-time. There really isn't much that the Riverdale actors can do about this, and they have to make their peace with their limited fashion options. Reporting on celebrity gossip is almost as big an industry as the entertainment biz itself, but it's notoriously full of misinformation. While it's true that a lot of celebrities like to keep their personal lives private, there's another reason behind their secrecy. Production companies require them to dial down the more risque elements of their lives. The cast of Riverdale are some of the biggest stars on television right now, and they're absolutely getting up to some wild antics. However, talking about those parts of their lives might change the carefully constructed narrative surrounding the show. It wouldn't help if an actor's personal life was more interesting than the latest scandal plaguing the citizens of Riverdale. This rule isn't too demanding, as most performers want some semblance of a private life anyway. But it can be a hindrance when they want to advocate for a less than popular cause or movement, or just let their freak flag fly. An actor can't really do that though, if those opinions go against their carefully constructed public image. Until this rule changes, we'll just have to appreciate what insider info we can get. In interviews, actors give their honest opinion of how they feel about the show and their experiences on set, right? Wrong! Every time the Riverdale cast sits down to talk about the show with an outlet, they're going over pre-approved points and sticking to a general outline. It's not just an actor's job to portray a character. They also have to promote the show and get viewers excited for what's to come. The Riverdale actors directly benefit from the show doing well, so they're motivated to say whatever the studio thinks will make people watch the program. So the Riverdale actors are pretty much lying during most of their interviews. Before you get too mad though, most promotional events and advertisements stretch the truth, and it is a TV actor's job to bring a scripted narrative to life. It is a shame that Riverdale fans are rarely able to hear a performer's genuine opinion of their work though. Although with a show as big as Riverdale, we're bound to find out what was really happening behind the scenes before too long. This might be a pretty obvious rule, but it's one of the most important. Riverdale actors can't book conflicting gigs. They might be allowed to take on other projects, but they absolutely cannot take on a role that would interrupt filming. Doing so would be a massive breach of their contract, and they could face termination, severe legal action, and lose out on other acting opportunities. TV production sets are on an incredibly tight schedule. An actor not showing up to set because they're on another project could delay the entire project and affects the lives of dozens of other people. Double booking is super unprofessional and could cost the people funding the show a lot of money. If a Riverdale actor really does want to do another project, they're free to let their contract expire or negotiate out of it. However, acting contracts for television shows can last for years at a time, and ending one prematurely can be pretty expensive. Basically, actors need to really commit to anything they sign on for and ignore any conflicting work opportunities. Like a lot of workplaces, Riverdale actors need to cover their tattoos while filming. This isn't just because of a weirdly old-fashioned dress code, though. Actors like KJ Apa, Lily Reinhart, and Camila Mendes need to cover their tattoos so they can succeed in portraying their characters. Today, tattoos are a pretty common form of self-expression and represent a person's identity. However, an actor's identity often doesn't match up with the personality of a character they're playing. In some cases, it would even break the show's continuity or betray a character's values if they have a tattoo. Thankfully, it's pretty easy to cover tattoos, especially with the aid of professional costuming and makeup departments. If a tattoo is in a spot that isn't covered by the performer's clothes, skin tone matching makeup can hide the markings. Granted, this can be a little bit of a hassle and forces an actor to spend more time in hair and makeup. This is why you don't see too many actors with larger tattoos or ones that are on usually uncovered parts of their body. While the writers of Riverdale have a general idea of where the show is headed, the details can be pretty fuzzy. This is usually sorted out when the writers pen an entire season's worth of episodes. However, this also means that actors aren't sure what's in store for their character until they get their own copies of the script. Sometimes the character an actor portrays can be written out of the show before the actor's contract is up. In situations like this, an actor will still be paid for their full contract and need to stay available for reshoots or flashback scenes involving their character. That being said, the performer is still basically fired, and they have to be prepared for that to happen at any time. Now, most Riverdale stars don't live in constant fear of their character getting written out of the show, but show business is a tough industry, and they have to understand that their time on the show could end at any time. Then again, with Riverdale on their resume, they could probably get other acting work fairly easily. If you follow entertainment news and the events surrounding your favorite celebrities, you'll notice some strange language whenever money comes up. While the four main leads on Riverdale all make around $40,000 an episode, you won't ever hear them confirm it. That's because the people behind the show really don't want their actors talking about money all that much. A Riverdale actor talking about their salary or even just the details of their contract weakens the studio in future negotiations. If prospective actors know how much another actor is getting paid and what their benefits are, they can fight for a similar deal. While this is great for actors trying to make it on TV, the studio wants to keep costs as low as possible. It can also be difficult for an actor to be relatable if people know exactly how much money they're making. While the Riverdale actors deserve every penny of their salary, that amount of wealth will color people's opinions of them. Show business doesn't have to be this secretive, but more transparency doesn't seem to be coming to the industry anytime soon. What do you think of the intense rules the cast of Riverdale has to follow? Do you think they follow them to the letter? Please let us know in the comments section below. While you're there, remember to like this video, ring that bell, and subscribe to The Binger for more Hollywood insight.